the league. You know, they are in free fall. They're scoring no goals. Sometimes you need a different voice. Worrying things that is saying he has lost the dressing room.
Chris Sutton, are you happy now?
Well, I mean, the irony, Robbie Savage calling someone a clown. I mean, you know...
Stick to the point. Are you happy with Ranieri's sacking?
Well, I'm not happy. Why was he sacked? I mean, that is the confusing issue for me. If he was sacked by the owner because of the results and because the owner wanted a new manager in charge to keep them in the Premier League, absolutely fine. But all this stuff coming out now about a player revolt, reportedly, is it Schmeichel, Vardy, it was reported in the paper this morning.
So, Morgan, paper reports would have us believe.
And Albright. And that is an absolute disgrace, if that is the case. And I think the owner would have to need a good look at himself. The owner has been extremely weak in this situation. I really hope it isn't because of that. But, you know, this story is growing arms and legs.
Look, just while we're on that, let's hear from Jamie Vardy. This was actually our own reporter, Andy May, speaking to Jamie Vardy before the game in Seville in midweek. Here's what Jamie had to say then.
When it comes to supporting the manager, can you categorically confirm everyone in the dressing room is behind Claudio?
I can categorically confirm that every single person is behind Claudio.
That was then. Robbie?
Well, obviously, he's gone. I just think from the owner's point of view, it's cynical, it's soulless, it's ruthless. 2 weeks ago, he had their unwavering support. They lost at Swansea, but then they've gone to Sevilla and got the away goal, and they won goal hypothetically and a clean sheet away from the quarter-final of the Champions League. Yet, they've decided now, after 2 weeks ago, unwavering support, he's lost his job. You know, and as Chris has alluded to, you know, there's about dressing room rest, and there's reports some players have met with the chairman, or the chairman called some players, and it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. There's been gutless, spineless, inept performances on the pitch by a group of players who are better than that.
So you're saying it's the players? You think it's the players?
I have no idea, Chris. We're not inside that dressing room. We don't know. Nobody knows.
No.
Only the players know. But on the results, they haven't scored a Premier League goal in. The argument were people... I've heard a lot of people saying, OK, it's the right decision. They haven't scored a goal in the Premier League in 2017. They're on a bad run. Teams below them are performing well. So some people might think on the result side, it's the right decision. But surely there's got to be a place, a 5,000 to 1 win the league, sentiment in this situation. Why? Nigel Pearson, 2 years ago, his side were in a worse position than this Leicester side now. And Nigel Pearson didn't win the championship. He got himself. He made.
Well, he was given the chance to get out of the hole, and he did.
He won 7 at the last 9 and kept them up. They finished 14th. Why on earth has Claudio Ranieri not been given the opportunity to keep this group of players in the Premier League? What's the difference? Did the players like Nigel Pearson? Did the players like Crowd? They won the league, and I know what Chris said last week.
There's a couple of arguments, isn't there? But I understand what you're saying about sentiment. I said it last week. Don't really want to repeat myself, but I understand why they've made the change if it was based on results, because they want a different voice, and then it's lost the dressing room.
Yeah. Okay. Any of the rest of you think it was a good decision?
Well, listen. I mean, I think we kind of, when you talk about, player power, I think this is massive, because we've all come from a generation. Well, there was player power, the players with egos and big characteristics, that type of stuff. But we'd never go to a chairman and try and get a manager sack, even though there was player power.
Didn't Leeds do that with Brian Clough? I mean, 40 years ago.
We weren't born then.
Yeah, we'll see.
What I'm saying is not new that players might go behind a manager's back and try and get him sacked.
Well, we're not to a chairman. They might go to the press. Or
we don't know if that's happened, to be fair.
No, we don't know if it's happened. But what I'm saying to you, it's been reported that that's the case. Yeah. Now, at the end of the day, we had player power in our change room. We managed the change room. Chrissy would tell you that, so would Kev and Dino. We managed the change room. And if things weren't going right, it's down to us in that change room. Not to go to the chairman and say, by the way, if this is the case, that's Ranieri's got to go. Because if I was a chairman, I'd say, hang about, you should be the one who should be going, not the manager. And he's gone the other way and sacked Ranieri.
Your last port of call, every dressing room I've been in is with the manager.
Yeah.
Players don't.
So you take your complaints to the manager.
The most important relationship at the football club is between the manager and the chairman.
Yeah.
They've got to be like that. So nobody can get in between that relationship. But I'm blaming the players. It's not the manager's fault. Players have a list. Players have a list, and you keep reading it every time a manager's under pressure.
Yeah.
Don't like the food. Don't like the training ground. Don't like the tactics. Picking the wrong team. Yeah. Training's rubbish. Don't like the hotel. There's a list. It goes on and on and on. Have a look in the mirror. Last season, Jamie Vardy's banging goals in for fun. Mahrez is beating people for fun. Wes Morgan's not getting beat in the air from corners. Huth's not getting outpaced down the channels. Folks is not... Christian Fuchs?
Christian Fuchs.
He's not making mistakes like he's making this year.
But they are a bang average team.
I think
they are a bang average team.
I think Dina made a good point earlier. If they win 3 more games, if they have 3 more wins, that's where they are.
Yeah, that's where they are.
That's about where they should be.
Yeah.
I mean, you're back to ifs.
I think when you sign new players, he's tried to improve things and you dilute the spirit. Ajoa was quite happy to sit on the bench last season because Vardy was on fire and he waited for his chance. He's now seen the manager sign a couple of players who he thinks he's better than. And he's not prepared to sit on the bench.
Let's not just talk about the players in this. Craig Shakespeare, the coach, is looking decidedly slippery in all this, isn't he? That relationship between him and Ranieri, what was it? Players have too much power? Oh, he was asked whether players have too much power. And what was his response? Only if you let them. Just come out and say what your relationship was like, because, you know, you have to say it. It looks from the outside like he stabbed Ranieri in the front.
With the front.
In the front.
Kevin, if Leicester stay up, is the pragmatism of all this make it worthwhile? Is it the right decision?
I don't think it's the right decision myself, but if they stay up, obviously they have to rebuild because they did punch way above their weight last season. Everybody knows that. And now, you know, they've taken a knee-jerk reaction, in my opinion. They've fired...
You talk about financially.
Yeah.
The implications are going down. They paid 39 million for Leicester, the owners. It's now been valued. It's valued now at 400.
That doesn't matter.
458 million. It's valued at right now.
It doesn't matter, Dean.
And then you sack the manager. Name another business that would employ a manager who turns 39 million into 400. I know it's not all down to him, and he gets sacked 9 months later.
But they did write a debt off about 103 million quid, didn't they?
Yes,
but he's lifted that club up from
I agree
nowhere.
with you. I totally agree with you.
So, if Premier League survival was the be-all and end-all, and we have to assume it is, Robbie, why didn't they sack him after the Swansea game 2 weeks ago and give a new manager more of a chance?
Time as well is ridiculous. After the second-half performance in Seville, where they showed a bit of art, they showed a bit of desire, all the things I mentioned before, they showed that in the second half, like they've done for the last 2 years. That group of players were going down to Pearson. They survived because they had good character. Everybody said they couldn't win the league. They want to prove people wrong. And now in a situation where that Swansea performance was one of the worst gutless performances I've seen from a side in the Premier League. It was shocking, all looking at each other, arguing, hands in the air, blaming everybody else but themselves. You know, as Dino says, look in the minute, because that group of players, they've done it, they've been there and done it.
I mean, to be fair, the Seville result was a fantastic result. So you're right what you're saying, Matt. If they'd have sacked him on results, then they would have sacked him before that. So something must have happened between the last league game and that.
But there's now reports. There's now reports. He was told in the hotel at the airport.
Yeah, exactly.
Give this man a bit of respect. He's been so dignified through the course of it. He won the league with Leicester. I know what Chris was saying in the last programme. OK, results, blah. But come on, it's never going to happen again. It's never going to happen again.
Matt,
it's Leicester City.
From a manager's point of view, looking at it, that type of decision makes me not want to be a manager anymore. And young players, old players who are just finishing their careers and are thinking they're going into coaching, what's the point?
Well, I don't.
What's the point? Do something else.
Chris,
the worst profession ever.
His win percentage in the Premier League, Claudio Ranieri, is 44%.
The 5th best, isn't it?
Yeah. Tony Pulis, who I think everybody would agree is a successful and worthwhile Premier League manager, 31%.
But what point are you making?
That he's
great, but
the results aren't what have cost him his job.
They're dealing in this season. That's what the owners are
They've not been in the bottom 3 all season.
But they're in free fall. So,
Chris,
I totally understand what you're saying.
But
they've had a terrible run of results.
Who is the guy?
And they want a different voice. And that is it.
Who is that guy?
It is an issue.
Who is that
person? The new manager coming in with the reportedly poisonous group of players going to the chairman. He's going to want to deal with that at source.
I tell you what a job now. What a job for Sunday. Because your remit will be not bother about the FA Cup, play week inside now. Don't care about the FA Cup. Europe,
they're out, aren't they?
We don't want to get in the top 6. Let's just finish 17th. And that's the remit, isn't it? Because
stay up.
Just stay up.
Stay up. Yeah,
just stay up.
Yeah.
Don't win the league.
Chris, I was going to ask you, right? At what point, if you're the chairman, at what point are they in a crisis, or do you think they're already in it?
I think they're in a crisis in terms of the league and staying up. So
Wow.
I understand. Well,
It's a
I
crisis
understand
a lot of clubs would like to be in.
Yeah, but I understand.
I think it's a crisis when players are going to the chairman to get the manager sacked.
So then you
That's
go
when
into
you're at a crisis.
you get appointed as manager. Then, Paul, what do you do with that scenario, with those players, knowing that there's a poisonous section and they're going to go above you and undermine you? What would you do?
There's only 13 games, so I mean, by the sound of it, they'd be happy for anyone to come in. But if we talk about the players that have been said, then I'll be talking to them straight away. But they'll be on my side straight away. You know what football's like. New manager comes in.
So that man,
flips over.
You know, that man, Ranieri, give hope to every football fan, every player with limited ability like myself. Obviously, I'm not playing now, but that kind of player, he give hope to the world of football by what happened. Limited players won the league.
Which was that good, to be fair.
It's true, isn't it? He give hope to everybody, to fans, every fan of a club like a West Brom or a Stoke. They're thinking Leicester won the league. I know the players done it as well. You know, they were in together, but he's give hope to everybody. Yeah. They've won the league.
Sav, if you're any of the bottom six and you're in trouble and you're thinking of sacking the manager, what manager would you bring in? Sam Allardyce. Yeah. And it's not working.
No.
No.
It don't always work, no matter what you do. So it's a massive gamble bringing somebody else in as well.
Just to finish this off, do you think it will be inevitably a short-term appointment, somebody who's parachuted in, try and keep them up, and then they'll look again in the summer? Thinking about a kind of heading-type figure who'd just be happy to come and do a job for a
You can only take the job for money. Why would he take that job?
Well, it depends how you
win
look
the league
at
and
it.
get sacked 9 months later.
There'll be applicants.
Depends how you look at it, because I think, you know, I still think they'll stay up. I think they all think they'll stay up. But if the owners feel that they're in big danger of going down, do you bring in someone like a Gary Rowett who's good in the Championship? Because you need a manager who can manage in the Championship as well as managing in the Premier League.
But to sack a manager because he might take you down, and then hire a manager who'll be better in the division below.
This is what clubs do. This is what clubs do. And, but you know, as I said, I'll agree with Sab. It's a disgrace that he's gone, but you've got, like football, you've got to move on.
Who's advised the two owners? Who's advised them? The two owners. Who's telling them?
Well,
John Rodkin is the director of football. I believe he's the closest at the club to the owners who are...
Well, the owners are a bit... I mean, I don't know whether you were referring to the owners spineless. They have been spineless and weak to undermine...
No, the players.
Well, I think the owners as well, to be... You put them in the bracket. If they are... Well, I'll take back what I said. If they are speaking to the players and undermining the manager, which has been reported, that is a disgrace, and they need to have a good look at themselves as well.
OK. Good stuff. Excellent stuff. We'll come back to it. But let's get over to